And then if you've got people that have built tools, I'm sure many of you have used, that makes it even more exciting. So from that perspective, I'm honored, super excited to welcome Dana Lawson from Netlify onto the stage.
All right, y'all. As a CTO, I don't get to do demos very often because only real engineers do that. I just push spreadsheets and work on workflows and yell at people. I never yell at people. Okay, maybe just a little bit, but that's just because I'm hyper excited all the time. So you heard this morning about agents and using them for low-hanging fruit. Malta said it right, is like the development life cycle is more than just shipping code. It is about the whole process behind it. And today, your agents are primarily shipping code. And so I think it was, about 40% of y'all have built an agent before. And let me just assure you, if I can build an agent as an executive that just does spreadsheets, there's no reason that nobody in this audience can't. The barrier of entry of web development has lowered so tremendously, but we still need to provide those guardrails and boundaries so that we can do good work. And in my workflow, we use linear. A lot of y'all maybe use Jira, GitHub issues, projects, or if you're a developer, you're like, why do I have to write anything down? Who wants to do that? That's a lot of work. Well, I'm with you. And so when I was thinking about my workflow, I was like, what would be a practical agent that took my job and made it simpler? I don't know about you all, but I've been in the doom scroll of bug scrubs for 26 years. And that's probably older than some of the people that are alive here, but it's true. And I wanted to build a practical agent that made my life easier. Now, I prepared this talk, I don't know, about 2.5 months ago, and I was so hyped. I told the Linear team, I'm like, yo, I built a Linear agent. I am the #1 user in Linear. It's amazing how much I get done because it writes it as me. So my team were like, man, the CTO is super productive and all over our shit, which was not true. The agent was. So I'm going to show you how you can be super productive too. And with this example and this agent, I've already open sourced this, so don't pay Linear the enterprise fee for building agents. You can come to mine. It's MIT license because the web should continue to be open. And so coming from GitHub, I try to open source most of the things I do. And if you don't know how to build an agent, you can start from here. So in this agent, it basically goes and finds duplicates, it repeats and applies labels, and it merges issues. You can go one step further. I've built this with Claude. You can add any kind of coding agent that you want. And again, this pattern can be replicated on anything from GitHub, like I said, Jira, Slack. I mean, it's really just the guardrails of putting in what you want to have done and taking that task work out. So, like a good technologist, I went and vibe coded up mostly this, hey, gotta be real. If we're gonna use coding agents, you gotta use them all the time, right? And what I learned, I vibe coded this agent up and then made it real because sometimes it only can take you so far. But what I learned recently and being at Netlify is a lot of people don't use Git anymore. At Netlify, you have the ability, does everybody know what Netlify is? Okay, some of y'all do. All right, Netlify is a web development platform. A lot of places, a lot of people just drag and drop websites now. Now that we have the citizen developer available, they absolutely do not know what Git is. They're like, what? What is this GitHub thing, this GitLab thing? I have no idea. But you still need a workflow because a lot of things are still non-deterministic and you want to know what's changed in the system. So we moved our entire company to Linear, especially now that my finance, marketing, support, and everybody's writing apps and putting in user tickets. Linear is such a mess. So again, I created a linear agent, and let's just show you how it works. Y'all said you wanted to see some code. It's not that fancy. In fact, I got rate limited earlier, so let's hope the internet and the rate limiting gods do not stop me. So as you can see here, I created a mock UI. I mean, I believe the best place to test is in production, but because all of Netlify is on Linear, I didn't really want to piss everybody off with coming in and having my agent do loops. It was doing loops. I think that's why I got rate limited. And so I created a mock version of that. And so some of the things that I was thinking about are some of those challenges that I have is, again, we have the entire company utilizing the same issue source, and just peeling through that is really hard. We have it hooked up to GitHub, so our GitHub issues go into Linear and vice versa, and there's just a lot of duplication. And the one thing that these agents are really good for is like summarizing finding patterns and matching. Not too great on the creative side, unless you really apply whimsical funness to it. I love that talk. So here in this mock, we've created a new issue where a checkout button doesn't work. Users report that it's checking out twice, and then we can come in here and see that my agent ran. It gave me a summary that there's a critical payment bug. It recommended some actions. And with this agent, you can start with any of the guardrails you want. You maybe not want it to take action and tell you how to do the fix, which now Linear has the ability to add in your MCPs and all your agents into there. I'm not that, we're a startup, but we still have huge customers. We've been around for a minute. I can't just let Claude go do all the things in production. I still have to tell it what to do. There's a little bit of oversight. But you can take it one step further if you do want to have a fix in here. But what the agent analyzed is, hey, you need to go and implement debouncing on checkout, add server-side impotency, and then deload. And we rated it high because it hits this. I didn't come up with any of this. The agent decided that this is what it would categorize this Linear issue. And guess what? I agree. And then it also noticed that I have a duplicate, because typically when you have issues like this on SaaS-based platform, it's not one person. You're going to get a million reports. I don't know if y'all have gotten the Zendesk queue of nonsense, especially when you have an outage or a nasty bug. It just keeps coming. And so my agent made it smart to link the issues, because again, we want to make sure that we keep a written record. If we're not going into our repositories and keeping the source of truth there, you need another avenue. And I need it in a way that's written so that my entire company can participate and not just us in the dev side. But a mock is fine. I actually do want to break production. So I did build this in our production Linear in its instance. And hopefully I don't take it down today. I created a new workspace though. So here we have the agent running, and I'm going to go create a new issue. How about mobile payment duplicates? Users are driving me crazy and saying my payments aren't working. And I don't know about you, we have a pretty big support team. Sometimes I get issues just like this. It tells me nothing. Okay, y'all have all been there where you're like, what's actually wrong? But let's see, I'm gonna be and we're gonna create this issue. And the magic of the agent, we see that it was made. Right here, my agent automatically ran. This wasn't magic, this happened immediately. It's running on a server, it's going and polling, and it's doing an analysis. I made this quite simple for this demonstration, but you can make it as complex as you want. This depends on your workflow. Right now, it says, obviously, investigate, reproduce the issue, and identify the root cause. What we can see here is if we go and look on some further ones where we've been running this all day, it will also give you reasons on why it's doing that. So as you can see, there's many, many workflows within a software development lifecycle that isn't just shipping code. In fact, I think some of the harder ones are solving all the things around it to go to market, which is tracking your software changes, communicating back to users, and understanding the health and quality of your code. And so this is just one example of how you can now go build an agent for the work that you don't want to do and take your time back to do the work that you do want to do. A little bit of behind the scenes architecture behind it is we've written how we've done this so that, again, this pattern can be used over and over so that not only do you want to make it this one time for Linear, but having an architecture overview inside the agent allows other replications of the agent to be applied to other systems. So now that I've open sourced this, my friends can go to my repo and apply this to GitHub. And believe me, you want to, because I worked at GitHub and issues and projects suck. So go and build your own thing on top of it. Any Hubbers, I'm sorry, I'm one of you. But this is another place that you can start replicating and designing. So with that being said, that's basically my demo. I hope that you all go out there and build. And if you want to, come steal mine. Like I said, don't pay for those enterprise SaaS feeds. Go build your own agent. You don't have to do MCP. You can just do API. You can do CLI. But just start where it makes sense and think about and grow. Thank you.